Yeah, welcome everyone to PGI and Peter's Gaming Info, and we've got the final part of Spider-Man 2 gameplay. So recent events, Venom, as you've seen in the previous video I posted quite recently, Venom versus Craven. Harry has completely turned, been completely exposed to the symbiote, and it's transformed him into Venom. That's Peter Parker's best friend. And Peter Parker right now is using a suit that now he's got the power to, which is an anti-venom suit from when Master Lee and Miles worked together to save people from the symbiote, and now he has anti-venom power, which is very fitting against Venom. So this is the final gameplay of the game. It's the final boss fight between against Venom, and it's a multi-stage, multi-phased fight, and we've also got the ending cutscenes as well. So it's gonna be a good one, definitely. So with this, it's taking on Venom right now. Like I said, in this anti-venom suit. That's why it's black and white. And you've got all these additional abilities like that one there as well. And if you remember, if you press L1 and then press the corresponding icon to either one of the buttons, square, triangle, circle, X, you get to use these abilities as well. Similar way you use the gadgets, where you press R1 and then you press the corresponding buttons, like square, circle, triangle, and you can use those gadgets as well. One thing I will say, that I think they've made this game a lot more sort of skill based. There's a parry, there's moves you have to dodge, sort of like unblockable, like crush attacks, those blue ones right there, and it's funny timing, and then moves that you can parry and block, like where you get the white spider sense tingling and it goes red for the last second or so. So I think they've made it more skill based, and I think they've also made it more challenging. Like, I haven't died this many times before to like bosses and certain mobs of enemies and stuff like that. So it's really picked up. It's really I think they wanted to make a game that was more sort of challenging, that would appeal to the casual player and the player that wants like a sort of skill check as well. So this one is a lot harder. I think there was some challenging bits in Miles Morales, I would believe, but this has been the hardest Spider-Man game I think I've played so far, and I've only played on amazing difficulty, which is the balanced one. So I think they tried to make it more for the person who wants to have that wants to have that skill check, wants to have a challenge. Maybe there was criticism that Insomniac faced that the games were too easy, because I haven't died this many times in a Spider-Man game, I'm sure of that. Anyway, going to the fight. So it's pretty cool because there's a number of bits of areas that you can transition to, like when Venom does his like area of effect attack, and you can transition to a number of different types of areas throughout to save yourself from getting hit. I'll be talking about different pieces throughout this gameplay. I might not commentate all the way through, but I'll definitely be touching on parts that are interesting, like this. So that's what's interesting with Venom. If you remember, the symbiote's weakness is against certain frequencies. So once I interacted with that device that was there, that electronic one, what happens is it plays a certain sound that just really disorientates Venom, and then it stuns him, and then you can get loads of hits off. So there's those things that are around their area as well to interact with that are also useful. So take advantage of everything you can, especially in a boss fight where it's the final boss and it's multiple phases. You want to be taking every bit of an advantage as you possibly can. Another thing worth mentioning as well is that you will get a warning before coming up to this section and the final section of the game, where it will actually tell you, look, are you sure you want to proceed, because there's like various upgrades you could be getting and stuff like that. So do be mindful of that as well. You know, if you feel like you're not ready, do some more side quests. I think there was a number of games I kind of wanted to get on playing as well, like Baldur's Gate 3, and now recently I found out Like a Dragon, the man who raised his name with Kiryu is coming out so soon. So I just thought, you know what, I'll get this game under wraps. I'm about 90% through. There's no point dragging it along. I'll just get it done really. But I think for this, I probably should have gone for some upgrades, because I've only upgraded my health twice, and that's why I think I'm taking so much damage. You know, off just like two attacks from bosses. So I think it would have made everything a lot more easier. But I you know, like I said, there's another number of games this year I've wanted to get through, and I don't want to be just doing side quest after side quest to build up. I just wanted to finish off. Great game though, overall very great. I mean, personally, I would put this and Resident Evil 4 Remake as my games of the year, you know, so far. And honourable mentions, or what could be there for contention, Armored Core 6 Dead Space Remake, which is another really good horror game as well. Might be a bit, even though it has some modern stuff, there's still some of the movement that I think might not be so modern, but everything else is, in terms of story, voice acting, has been done very well, and graphics and gameplay is really top quality. So yeah, definitely a few games to check out there as well. Been recently playing Baldur's Gate 3 and just seeing how that's going. So my point is, I don't have a number of time just to be doing like side quests after side quest and stuff. It's just like, the game's been really great, but it's time to get over now because there's other games I want to play. You know, I don't have all the time in the world, so yeah. So now we come to a cutscene as usual. You know, after the phase. Another thing to notice here is that Venom actually believes he needs Peter. He needs Peter Parker's help to, you know, take over the whole world. Sorry, and just to change everybody into this world of just symbiote control, which just seems like nonsense, really. So yeah, there with the car, as you can see, I pressed L1 plus R1 to interact with like the objects in the environment, and that one caused a certain frequency that just disorientates and messes up the symbiote. So that's the kind of, you want to take advantage of the environmental stuff that you can pull off. So if you look here at the part where Venom's health bar is, where it says Venom, and at the top of it, it's got this white part over it. And what that is that it basically makes him invulnerable. Only makes him vulnerable to anti-venom ability attacks. So when you press L1, you're waiting for them to recharge. Yeah, so it's interesting because you, like I said, you have to use these anti-venom attack abilities, which are just by pressing L1 and then pressing the corresponding buttons like square, triangle, circle, X. For those attacks, and those are what will take off the anti-venom meter, that white bar that's appeared over Venom's health bar. So that's the only way you can do damage when he has that over him. So it just adds another layer of, you know, sort of complexity to the boss fight, because it's not just a standard, okay, let's, you know, deplete his health bar. You've got to think about that, and those abilities, those anti-venom abilities, take some time to recharge as well. So it's not as straightforward as just go and just deplete the health bar. Really, just take off as much damage as possible. Yeah, so yeah, it was kind of an interesting feature to add, I guess. I mean, the one thing that I maybe wasn't too much of a fan of are these mobs that are here. Like, there's a number of mobs that like they produce these symbiote like minion enemies that keep like chasing after you, and I just thought they produced too many, and it was a bit frustrating having to deal with that as well. So most times I think I just focused on Venom, you know, and I think that is probably just the tactic. and they're quite easy to take care of. But when you've got Venom coming after you and doing lots of damage as well, then it can get a bit overwhelming. But yeah, those attacks can all be parried. Those ones where you get the sort of yellow spider sense and the white spider sense tingling as well. It's when he does like these crush attacks like that, for example. Those cannot be parried or blocked. They have to be dodged. They're essentially your unblockable attacks. So you just have to be mindful of those ones. But when he flashes yellow and then it goes, I think, red as well, you can parry those. I think you have to parry the yellow attacks. I think the yellow attacks break guards, and I think the blue ones are just unblockable and non-parryable and stuff like that. So some of the timing it was pretty quick. Like he hits much faster than what it looks like, I think, than on the video. When you're actually playing against him, it's like, wow, he hits fast and he moves fast for such a chunky, big, symbiote guy. he moves really fast and he hits extremely hard. So it's, there's been a number of times where I've just had to just replay this kind of boss battle. Yeah, so I'll be putting timestamps and stuff I'll be putting timestamps in the description, and then you guys will just be able to go to what you want to see, from the intro scene to the gameplay and then to the ending scenes, really. So it'll all be there. Again, he's affected by the sound. Never interacting with that. That car, I believe it was. I have to say I haven't had this much of a difficulty in the Spider-Man game. I have to be honest. I'm not saying they're easy, and maybe if I played some of the Spider-Man games on harder difficulties, I would find it maybe even extremely difficult. But there are some fights. One's tough where I've struggled or had really quite a challenging time with this one. And we're playing on amazing difficulty, but I think it's also because you're presented with a game where it's very straightforward in terms of taking out enemies and what you can do, and you're always the stronger person. I think that's the thing. When you're playing Spider-Man games, you're even in the Arkham games as well, the Batman Arkham games, but let's stay on topic. With the Spider-Man games, the sort of criminals and henchmen that you get, and normal sort of human enemies that and stuff, they're normally easy to really take out, you're overpowered to them, which you should be, because you're a superhero. You've got these superpowers. They don't. They're just regular humans. But with the with these bosses, these supervillains, they are really strong, either on par or even at levels above Spider-Man's strength. So it's an interesting kind of tough battle, which it should be because it makes sense, but I think it needs to be done where it's not exactly overwhelming and frustrating, and some of the mobs and having to wait for the whole anti-venom thing to recharge, it was a bit testing at times, or even a bit frustrating at certain points. But like I said, I had the option to explore, I had the option to get enough upgrades. I just chose, I've got other games I want to kind of play as well, and stuff, so yeah. I mean, the thing is that I could, you know, just do like an edit where I just showed me just beating this boss and then that's it. But I wanted you guys to get a scope of like the, you know, the struggle and the persistence as well, and what a boss looks like when you haven't fully upgraded, or you know, you've got like a certain level of skill. I wanted to showcase that as well, so that's why I've, you know, haven't edited out from the beginning of when this battle started after the cutscene. I thought keep it in there. you guys can actually see the suffering, and you know, and just get an appreciation to just the battle, and you know, and you can see it just for what it is. So I think there's like 3 phases that goes on with this fight. I think it's pretty much 3 phases. And the good thing is, I think after you go past the first phase, then you no longer have to do that first phase again. It's sort of saved. You only have to do the you only have to, I think the only thing is that when you get to like the 3rd phase, I think you will have to repeat the 2nd phase if you fail, and I think that's the only downside, because I remember having to do much more after dying them like multiple times on this one. But as you can see, what's cool is that you can go to different parts of the arena. You know, he even tries to, you know, get his whole tentacle arm against you as well, and that's what's cool. You can, you know, traverse to different parts of the arena and make space when you need to, from his whole area of effect attack that just takes up the entire like level unless you're on the ground, unless you're on the air, but it's not so easy to dodge. So the tactic here for me is to go straight to that car, you know, interact with it and cause that alarm to go off. As you see, it disrupts the symbiote, and I believe the other symbiotes around as well will get disrupted, and then it gives you a chance to follow up with damage. I mean, I don't know if they should have included this Venom meter, that you got to use anti-venom ability attacks against Venom to bring that meter down, and then you can start inflicting damage on him. I don't know if that was a necessary thing. I mean, it gives something different, and it does make sense, I guess, to an extent. Actually, I'm not sure really if that actually makes sense. I mean, it's effective against him, but I don't know how he gets a barrier up to it, so not really, no. I guess not, probably eat my words now. But, you know, it adds something different, and, you know, it's what you have to do to get through the fight, really. So now you see his anti-venom meter's gone, and where his health bar is, and now he's got red health bar, standing health bar, which can be depleted. So I think with this fight, you want to use everything to your advantage. You want to use the environment, you want to use your abilities, you want to use your there's like this power up you get if you press two of the analog buttons, if you want to use your like gadgets and stuff. You want to use every possible thing to your advantage in order to win this fight. You know? I think you really want to do that, unless you're just got loads of upgrades and this is you know, and this is a cakewalk or something. Because I've put in about 31 hours into this, and loads of reviewers and people saying, oh, this is about 14-15 hours at best, and blah 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 blah. And I was thinking, this feels longer than the Miles Morales game. You know, it does. It feels longer than the Miles Morales game. Miles Morales game did feel like it took over 12. So I think, so you know, what I think that it is a longer game, and there's a lot more content in it than Miles Morales, and I think people that did probably complete it were either better skilled than I am, or that they actually put it on the easiest mode possible. You know, I wouldn't say I'm some god gamer or anything like that, no, I'm not, but at the same time, I do think it did take a while to complete. But I think it would have been the same way like anyone else would have had as well, so yeah. The parries were really useful as well, I'd say. I think once I started utilizing the parries, it made it easier, I think, to just clean up the mobs by just parrying most of the time and then just attacking them, and I think it made it quite a bit easier. So you go here, and then once you press square, you get this cutscene where you're just giving them like a combo of punches, and then just trying to use the anti-venom stuff, and then it throws you off. Yeah, some of those attacks seem a lot faster than they're actually meant to be, and I think for those you have to press it when the spider sense turns white. If you try pressing it when it turns red, there's a chance it could be a second off. So we've got another cutscene here.
Doesn't matter what you do to me. I'm never gonna heal the world with you. Not like this. The meteorite. You took it from us.
So this was a surprise, he can actually grow wings. I was just thinking, wow, that's surprising. Venom grows wings and then flies away. I was not seeing that coming, I'll tell you that. I'm not surprised as they are, eh? So now we have Miles Morales and MJ. The one thing I will say is I know they've included stealth missions with a bit with Peter Parker and like his younger years in school with Harry, his best friend, and MJ. They've included stealth missions, and I've never been a fond of MJ stealth missions. Exactly, they just really haven't been for me. Maybe some people see some importance and relevance with the storyline and the comics, Spiderman and stuff like that. But I always found them quite irritating to have to go through. They weren't like the worst, but they were just my least favourite of the games. This one, they've included stealth missions with MJ, but you get a taser gun, and you also get a gun that is adapted towards taking out symbiotes as well, because it fires a certain frequency at them. So it's weird. it's basically where, like, look, they wanted to include MJ having a part in this as much as Peter Parker, as much as Miles Morales, and maybe that is actually good because you've got a female hero in a sense. She's doing stuff where you know, it's not stereotypical, and she's having to fend for herself and take from bad guys. That's completely cool and fine. I'm all down for that kind of, you know, for equality and fairness and all that, definitely. But the way the stealth missions are implemented in the previous games, I was not a fan of. You know, they weren't terrible, but I just wasn't. I just thought it detracted from the whole focus of focusing on being a superhero and having a high action packed game. And that's why I thought I didn't really like them. However, the Mary Jane stealth missions in this game are actually okay. They're not bad. I wouldn't say they were great, but they were okay. You know, she had more options than just running away being vulnerable, and you know, I just didn't really like the way that was. At least she can actually take care of herself when she's equipped with a weapon, which she should be if you're dealing with. So yeah, so transition now. We've now playing Miles Morales as Spider-Man, about to say Peter Parker, and this time Venom has a new way of being fought. He flies up in the air, he throws a number of projectiles, and then there's one where you get to that sort of prompt, L1 plus R1, and you can redirect that right back into it. So this is a good one. This is pretty good one. I mean, I like Miles' electric blue. I think it's really useful. It looks cool. Yeah, sorry today. I've been out weekend and stuff, so my energy isn't exactly 100%. So do sort of apologise for that. So like I was saying, he throws a number of projectiles at you. The last one he throws, press L1 plus R1, and you can redirect. Sorry, you can redirect that back at him. Yeah, using the electric blue again. Yeah, Miles has some cool, unique abilities of electricity. And I think it's really good because to break up from, you know, what you're used to with Spider-Man. Pull up a parry again. It's attacking. So I'm starting to get more parries off. Starting to get a lot more parries off. You know, there's just throwing projectiles again. There's chance to heal pressing D on the D-pad. I mean, sorry, down on D-pad. And that's another thing I'll say that, like I said, I think this is very like is more skill based than the Spider-Man of the previous two Spider-Man games. There's also the way you can't just spam. I think like healing as well, where you've got to build up the focus meter for attacking or dodging, and then you can actually heal. And I think there's a window as well where you have to heal within like 2-3 seconds, or you know, that option goes. Yeah, I think another thing as well is that learn to dodge certain attacks very well. I think, especially the annoying ones, and those crush attacks, those ones where he goes blue. I've got time to dodge, get out the way. And I noticed as watch this.
So I wasn't here earlier. I was getting lunch, but is here the one
Yeah, so as I was saying, I've noticed you've got time to actually do a dodge and stuff. So it's just being aware of what's kind of working against you, and then learning counter strategy for that. This is a good way to take down a bit of health, and I actually think you can probably repeat this at far distance. The only thing is that by doing this, it won't take off that much health, and you'll probably be there for like a whole day. Yeah, I really think the blue lightning attacks are really cool. Very useful. So I like the diversity of variety of attacks you get being a different Spider-Man. So as you can see there, I used one of the gadgets. So if you press R1 on the right button, you get these gadgets you can use. And R1 and circle is the one that is mapped to the bell, and the bell was on the app that Miles Morales' best friend Genki, his tech wizard installed in there, and it just disrupts the symbiote, which leaves it open to damage, like I was saying, using stun. No, I think I finally managed to get that bit done. Just for Wolf. And I do think the majority of these boss fights would have been a lot easier had I took the time to explore. Like I was saying, there's so many games that have been coming out. Games that I want to play as well. It would just take too long. And sometimes it's nice to complete a game over the weekend because you've actually got time. Whereas over the week you've got work and everything's going on, and it's not the most convenient time. So go through to, I believe this is the second phase of the Venom fight. Once again, that crush attack, those crush attacks, they really do get you. You have to be very careful of the crush attacks. As you can see, they're interactive with the environment, which caused that sound to just go off, and it really affects them. It really takes in, it really stuns and affects them with that. So just look around. I mean, look at the environment. Pay attention to what you can counter and not counter. Pay attention to this kind of massive area attack, and you want to get just very high up and out of the way of that. use bits in the environment to stun him. Use your gadgets by pressing R1 and corresponding buttons. Use L1 and to use your abilities as well, miles and mana, so electric powers and stuff. And just use everything you can in your arsenal. Like right now, if you look at the top right, where that yellow bar is, if I press both analog buttons, then I'll be able to trigger the it's like this enhanced sort of state, where you can just take off more damage, and I think take less damage as well. So just take advantage of everything, and maybe just get some good upgrades, especially with health, I think, and whatever else to help you out. Because I think, because it actually does warn you that you sure you want to progress, from here. If you proceed from here with no upgrades, it's the final chapter, which is nice that Insomniac have actually thought to do that, where they haven't just thrown you in and you go, oh, okay, now this is really, really hard. It's not. There's nothing like that. There's a warning, so it's good. I think it would have actually been less painful if I actually did that, but I decided to finish it off. So. Let's go, it's parry.
I always knew someone was fish. I can put my finger on his eyebrows are definitely messed up.
You're not doing this for me! You're doing this for yourself!
So one thing I would say they've done really well is that with certain phases, they don't let you start the whole phase again, because the thing is that would just be, I think, quite tedious, or really tedious to do, especially where Venom has a full health bar each time. So I think the only time maybe, if you're going to do a restart after going through maybe a second and third phase or something, is that if they just had one health bar, and then as it went to half, you introduced the second phase, and then, the third, as it went down to a quarter or something like that. But just to do it where you're doing multiple phases, and if you were to die, you have to restart the whole thing with being 3 separate full health bars for the boss. That would be very tedious and I think not fun. Or it really depends, but I think that's too much. So that's what I like, where they haven't done that with this game. You might have to maybe do a phase 2 and a phase 3, like in the previous Peter Parker fight, but it's not too bad at all. Oh, that looks cool. That ability. Yeah. So just use everything to your advantage, basically. I'm still surprised that Venom actually grew wings. I'm very, very surprised about that. I was just thinking that is such a strange. No, it was cool. It was a cool surprise. Even playing as Venom was cool as well. Very surprised by that part. So what, Venom? And then you're not. Yeah, I think that bit annoyed me because I got him down to about 20% or something, and I just messed up, and I just thought I could have done better. I'm getting those parries in more consistently now. We're starting to take off more damage. So he's going to shoot these projectiles, as you can see, and you just dodge them from side to side, really. The only one you can send back is the one where you get the icon with, the prompt with L1 plus R1, and then you can send that one launching back in his direction. But all those other ones, you really just have to dodge. And gosh, that attack was pretty annoying at times. It just get you at the worst time possible. Yeah. And again, got him to around the same health, but just getting hit by certain things and, you know, just taking as it goes. See that one that Gadget interrupted his attack? He's gonna go airborne and come crashing down, and it's interrupting him, and that's good. You interrupt, you know, you're getting damage, but if you maybe miss it by like a second, it probably won't happen. I'm getting the counters in. Yeah, this area of effect attack was that one was pretty annoying to dodge at first. But once you realise you can reach higher bits of the building, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So those attacks there come out a lot faster than they actually look like. Well, for me anyway, I think as soon as it's turned white, you have to just press L1. You know, if you're trying to wait for it to turn red, it's not the best idea.
The symbiote doesn't care about you.
It does shave off health.
Come on, man. We can fight this thing together.
You're getting in the dodges there, in the air. And this was a scary time. It's just like thinking he's about to do that, about to smash that down on him. And then NJ comes to the rescue, puts that right in his mouth, Miles does, and disrupts him. That detonator definitely gets to him. And you can see Harry's face. He grows wings and he flies off. Spider-Man obviously goes after him, both Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Miles Morales. And he's just flying high with that meteorite and he's just gone. But Peter Parker's not letting up, and this bit you get to press square repeatedly. It's one of those moments.
Give me back my friend.
And it really goes to show the determination and friendship, and when you want to save someone, you know, you truly want to save someone from, you know, from what they're going through, and that's what Peter Parker wants to do for Harry. So I really like how they've done all those sort of relationships and character building in this as well throughout the story. It's been really good to see that, and also to see different aspects of the characters, like in terms of their doubts, their fears, not only their strengths as well. Like they're not invulnerable to that, and this was cool. They both just punching and kicking Venom in the air. Yeah, Miles grabs them each other, right? Comes back down.
You ready to finish this? Almost.
Oh, this is just a crazy scene. Throughout the city, all this man.
Fight, Harry! Fight! I can't. I'm done. You have to.
I mean, Venom's already terrifying enough, and then when he give him wings. He's crazy. You got anti-venom stuff being used against him, and then that bit you're holding O2 and R2 with the right sort of force, and then you get to match the icon bits in the middle.
I'm done. Either way, Pete. We still have time? No. We don't. It'll kill them. It'll kill you. Let's heal the world, Pete. Together.
Not too bad. You can see he's doing his best to try and save Harry from the symbiote at this moment in time. Just trying to get rid of it to save his best friend, really. It's a touching moment between best friends and long lost best friend. The long time friend between these two. And how far, when we go to save their friend is very much highlighted from Peter Parker's attitude and his actions. So now they've destroyed this whole world that was taken over by Venom. initially by his symbiote powers that spread across the world. Now people are returning to normal from being symbiotes, and the world is just back to normal. Or well, just back to the way it was before that was done. The Venom's takeover. The Venom reign has come to an end, which is good.
We did it! Out there, walking on the goat. Here we go, low high. Dane Brown just got
Yeah.
out of me in the technique beta. I took game off, that's how I knew. That's how I knew the game was my game. I took one game off low high, oh, it's my game. We're back.
But Harry's just there, and he's in a state because of what's happened. And remember, Harry was vulnerable before he actually got the symbiote. He was getting more like when he detached from it. He was getting ill anyway. I think he had an illness in the first place, and the symbiote was kind of saving him, but it was destroying. It allowed him to destroy a number of things, and obviously it wasn't really him, but it did keep him. It did keep him alive, but of course it wasn't him, and the amount of destruction he was doing, it wasn't worthwhile anyway. Miles Morales comes through and tries to save the day. You can see there's L1 plus square, which is used, for your abilities and stuff. And you get another time to press it again. And Miles done a great job, and he's got Harry back. And a smart idea, and it got him back. Now everyone seems very happy, very relieved. I think Miles is just more concerned that you just take care of him, Peter, and Peter's very thankful, takes him off to the hospital and to sort him out. So now you have Osborn, and he's obviously got word of his son and everything, and he's got all the money and everything, so he's definitely going to check up on his son and how he's doing. And then you got Miles and Peter, and he was taking Harry off, just to the hospital. And he's going to need a lot of patching up. He's going to need a lot of healing time because he has gone through a lot.
We gotta move.
So you can see, like, Norman Osborn, he's got that tense, angry face of just, what have you done? What have you done to my son? And if anything, they've saved him, because that symbiote probably would have destroyed him, or he would have been destroyed in some way anyway, or even destroyed his father. But his father's got the love that he has for his son, and obviously he's furious in the state of what's happened, but it had to be done. Now this is some of the darker moments of Spider-Man 2, where you can see Harry, the doctor's given the news that his brain is functioning, but he will never really return to normal. And that's a sad thing. It's a really hard, dark part of the story to hear, that not everything turns out the way it should be. And it's a really sad ending for Harry, who only wanted to get his father's approval at the end of the day, really, and worked so hard to do that, and a father who probably didn't really appreciate his son. And you can see the frustration and the anger that he's just letting out. He's just smashing the windows, and he's just furious that his son, who is brought to this planet, to this earth, is just not going to be the same again. And it's a heartbreaking moment. It's a really dark tone for his son and himself. And now he probably actually realizes probably the full worth of Harry as well, even though he seemed to have slight favoritism towards Peter. But I think now he fully realizes what he's lost and everything. Now he's grieving for Harry and stuff. And obviously Peter and MJ, they can't talk to him at this moment, and Peter was right to say just get out really, there's nothing that can be done. They don't want to be caught up in it, and you know.
Evil, cataclysm,
And then you get this narrative section with Mary Jane, where she's just
stressed, numb.
talking about all the different emotions and all the different things that have happened, but we've never lost hope. You know, through all the stuff they've battled, through everything they've been through, and
We're all ready to
you
return
know,
to normal.
she's doing the reporting at this moment in time and the narrative at the moment.
Exists.
Well, it looks like a much nicer day, much cleaner, bright day now that they've done here, and you know, it looks like a morning starting off fresh, and it looks a lot more positive now and everything. And obviously all the Venom stuff is cleared up and everything.
Feelings. I hope you'll join me on this journey. This has been Mary Jane Watson, and you're listening to The New Normal.
Yeah, listening to the new normal. So that's her like journalist reporting stuff that she's doing. And then you get a nice scene here where they're just, you know, having their like lunch, and you've got Mars with Genki's long best friend, tech wizard. You've got Haley, who in this is deaf, and they even with the scenes there, she's using sign language. And you've got, you know, the mother of Miles, who is of Hispanic, I think, or Latino descent. And then you've got Miles, and you've got Peter, MJ. So it's a very diverse cast they've put in, and I like the way they've done that inclusion, that it actually caters and includes other people of different backgrounds and with and disabilities and stuff like that. It's very nice that Insomniac, as a games developer, have actually done that, because not many games do that. They don't have that diverse range of casts and, you know, and disabilities and stuff like that. So it's very nice that Insomniac have thought about that. They've implemented it into their game. I think they've done a great job with Spider-Man 2. I think it definitely surpasses the previous Spider-Man games. I mean, the Spider-Man games are great, but I think this is the strongest one. I like many features in it. The sort of motion sensor stuff that they've done with the haptic feedback, the way you can play different fun, fair activities and basketball using the motion sensor on the control to aim, and then R2 to shoot. You can aim by moving by hand motion. It's very interesting. I like the opening scene with the first boss battle with Sandman, and you know, and the boss battle moving forward throughout the game with Lizard, and all the action sequences following through, and the story development and the growth between Miles and Peter Parker, and you know, in encountering their doubts, fears, and growing stronger and growing more as a team as well. And also the synergy of these two fighting together throughout the city. As many moments you're fighting criminals and they all come in. But this is a very good scene here.
I got this.
So it's really something that you need to, once again,
All of it.
should be documented.
And why it's a good scene is because what it's explaining is Peter Parker wants to live his normal life and just say, look, I just want to hang up as Spider-Man. I don't want to be Spider-Man at this moment in time. I want to hand it over to you. So he hands it on to his successor, which is now Miles Morales, and he wants to just live his life with MJ and pass it on. And I thought that was a touching moment, that now Miles grows the confidence to say he can take all of it on, because previously you see those doubts, you see those fears, but now he's grown and he realizes that he's got to take things head on. And it's really nice to see that growth come from Miles Morales, as somebody who wasn't really confident in the role of being Spider-Man in the first place. So these are the ending scenes of Spider-Man 2. I would personally say Game of the Year is subjective, but if anything, I think this is a very strong title, and if not Game of the Year, then a strong contender. But it goes up as Game of the Year in my opinion, and along with Resident Evil 4 Remake as well, I think. So it's a really great game. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I think The middle may have had some pacing issues, but from the starting and then towards the ending, it gets much stronger. It gets stronger and much stronger, and the boss battles are really good. So I hope you've enjoyed the last final bit of gameplay for Spider-Man 2, and please check out some more games. Take care.